The Chamber hosted their annual City Council Candidate Forum at the beautiful waterfront beach resort at Hilton Hotel September 17th. From Board of Directors Chair Diane Thompson to Rainbow's Jeff Snow, who introduced MC legend Ed Arnold.
That direction, please.
The yes-no paddles were once again used for questions ranging from toll roads to city infrastructure. 9 of the 11 candidates participated and all had a 2-minute opening statement and a 2-minute closing statement, with each getting 1 minute response to questions.
Okay, we'll move now to our next question, and Joe Shaw, we'll start with you on this. What, if any, incentives would you consider to attract businesses with higher paying jobs?
The city of Huntington Beach has, for the last 4 years, developed a 10-point business plan. The 10-point business plan won the Orange County Business Council's Red Tape to Red Carpet Award. We're developing a new economic plan as we speak. We've seen the preliminary report on that. It's got lots of good things in it. 3 things I'd like to see would be high-speed broadband development along the Gothard Industrial Corridor. I think we need to improve the coordination between our departments during the entitlement process, speed up the process, save business owners time and money. I think we can also develop, well, we are developing a loan funds to replace the redevelopment funds that went away. This revolving loan fund would support new businesses and startups at a very low interest rate, and that's of an important measure I think we can take to stimulate business in the next 4 years.
Thank you.
Well, I think one thing would be if we were to build more commercial office space and bring in jobs that are higher paying, that could be helpful, as opposed to just retail on the bottom floor, as Eric mentioned. So that could be helpful. I also think we could look more at tax sharing agreements that have been done in the past to incentivize business to come here and to stay here if they're thinking about leaving. So those are also areas, but we need to be careful if we do that it is applied fairly and not just to certain businesses. So I think those are a couple things that we could do. I also would like to see more emphasis on the business development department. I think it's great that we have the plan that we do in place, but that I would like to see even more emphasis on beefing up that department to reach out more and recruit more business. So thank you.
Serving on Planning Commission, you certainly get to see the dark underbelly of the bureaucracy. Clearly, there's still too much bureaucracy. A lot of things come before Planning Commission that, you know, you go, why wasn't this handled at lower levels? I don't like things like variances and special permit deviations. I think that's a sign that we need to have a conversation with the business community to see what code changes better fit our needs as a community. So I would love to enter into discussions with there on how to make things better. The bureaucracy certainly has room for optimization. Still, in the year 2014, you have planning staff handwriting page numbers on every Planning Commission staff report. Let's use technology, folks, and I fully support the prior suggestions to look at extending broadband infrastructure down the Gothard corridor. I am a Fios customer, and you'll have to pry it out of my cold, dead fingers. It's the greatest thing ever for higher technology companies, and we need more broadband here to attract those companies.
Time. Thank you.
I would start with making sure that the business that we have want to stay here, and that's why I would establish a business owners, business executives roundtable to reach out to retain the businesses that we have. When I had my business in the city of Huntington Beach, I was on Gothard Street. There really wasn't much red tape to establishing it, getting permits, occupancy permits. The only contact I had with the city, though, was when I had my occupancy permit inspection, and it was not a very pleasant experience. But that was the only contact I had with the city, and I think that was a shame. I think that City Council ought to know who the business owners are, reach out to the businesses, and be in touch with those people so that they stay and expand and grow their businesses, and when they grow, they don't leave, they stay. Tax sharing is a great idea, especially for the auto dealers. Auto dealers generate a tremendous amount of sales tax revenue. I know we have room for 1 or 2 more dealers. That would be one thing I'd be looking at to attract an automobile dealership. Thank you.
Easy, fun, and workable for our small businesses to function and exist here. Not overloading the city with big businesses, which I love, but big boxes become empty spaces in changed economic circumstances, as do car dealerships. Permitting has got to be streamlined. There are businesses, small businesses that I talk to who say they'd love to come to Huntington Beach, but it's too tough to get here, and then it's too tough to stay here. You have the Albertson Center where the small businesses in there, some of whom have my signs, are saying we're getting choked by parking regulations, and right down the street, special interests, inside special interests, are giving the Walmart Center whatever it wants, the little Walmart Center. If we want to give money to small businesses that want to have capital risk here, I don't think it should be the city's capital that is placed at risk. So I disagree with that suggestion. But I do agree strongly that we have to make it easier for them to get here, come here, build out their space, and then stay.
Thank you.
It's very simple for me. I feel that we need to create more public-private partnerships, protect and serve the existing businesses in our community. We should be reaching out to the likes of the Boeing companies. What can we do to attract more employees into our community? The former Sharp Center where Harvard Distribution is coming into town. We should be able to keep these existing businesses. I would create a forum of business folks, how we can attract good companies into our city, good paying jobs. Another thing I would have to say is I'd have to reduce the red tape. I was at a business this morning basically where they wanted to put up a canopy which was larger than 10 by 10. They reached out to the fire department, they didn't know what to do. They went over to the planning department, they didn't know what to do, so nobody knew what was going on. Business in Sunset Beach has a table outside. They wanted to put an umbrella on top of the table. They were supposed to get a permit to do this. This madness has to stop. We have to streamline the process to make it quicker and easier for business to do business in our community.
For our already existing local businesses, we need to really support them more and make Huntington a city where businesses grow and become huge. We be known for this city to be launching companies, and then more companies would come into Huntington Beach. If we were the ones that were known, there's so many great people in this town making their own product, starting their own restaurants. If we helped them out, like what he was saying with the red tape, we let them, let's launch companies. Let's be where like big chain corporations started. And they came from Huntington. Like we have a smart tech company here, and then all of a sudden they blow up bigger than Google, and they came from Huntington. And it's Huntington people working there. Let's really support our local businesses, and then on the other side, with the bigger tech companies that we could get coming in here, let's figure out some tax breaks or something we could do. I'm new at this, so I don't know what kind of tax breaks you could give out, but let's figure out how to get them in here, but also really focus.
Please.
Well, I think focusing on the businesses we have is a great idea. I have a business in Huntington, and the only people I see is fire coming in to check my space. So that is one way to do it. Another way is to cut down on the cost of doing business here. Too often the city looks at the business as where they're getting their money and not actually the product they're selling, the tax base. And we get hit with, inspection fees, and you want to do anything, and you go through every department, and there's a price tag on every department you go through. And we need to, those businesses have to know those costs going into a project, because we've had stuff come through Planning Commission. They're all ready to go, they're approved, and now there's all these extra costs that they weren't aware of. So we need to make businesses aware of the cost to do business in our city, make that cost lower, make it easier for them, protect the residents and the businesses of the city at the same time.
I definitely feel like people wanting to open a small business, it should be a little more streamlined, and I agree with the red tape. When we opened our shop maybe 7 years ago, I felt like we kind of got put through the ringer with the permitting and dealing with the city. Some sort of incentive program to attract these businesses. By the time everything was said and done, it took us almost about 6 months to 8 months for us to finally open our shop. So I felt like the city could have been a little more business friendly and helping us along the way with the streamlining and maybe.
Remember, voting is slated November 4th. For HB Business News and your Huntington Beach Chamber of Commerce, this is Matt Liffring.